you don't take.
So you were giving employees $500 if
Well,
they failed?
I had a great, just a very brief example. So I had a little hotel up in Squaw Valley, Lake Tahoe area, and a lot of mosquitoes during the summer months. It's an old motel built for the Winter Olympics, the 1960 Winter Olympics, built in 1959 for the delegates. It was supposed to be torn down. It sort of patched together, and we held it together, but it had no air conditioning. So you'd keep the doors open, you keep the windows open, but in the summer, the mosquitoes came in, drove the guests crazy. So we had this night clerk, those crazy night clerks come in, and he was getting complaints all the time about the mosquitoes. And he, on his own, decided one day to go before he went to work, get in at 11 o'clock at night, and he bought a bunch of catfish at the store because there's a bunch of ponds around the business. And he figured that's where all the mosquitoes are starting. So the catfish will eat the larvae of the mosquitoes, and he'd solve the problem. So he just on his own decided to buy a bunch of catfish, dumped them in the ponds all around the hotel. Well, about 4 a.m, this engineer calls me, gruff guy, says, the raccoons had a feeding frenzy and ran through the hotel because the doors were open with a bunch of, flying fish in their mouths and fish everywhere. And Ludo said, you got to fire that son of a bitch, this goddamn idiot. And I started laughing, went up there the next morning, met with him, and I said, this is a magical thing. You tried to solve a goddamn problem. And we created the Failure Award. And I gave the biggest screw up every single month a bonus. And at the end of the year, we'd put them all together. January screw up, February screw up, and we'd have the Failure of the Year Award. And did that for years until my sister said, we'll call it the Magical Moment Award. But it was about initiative, taking responsibility, taking ownership, trying new things, seeing what works, iteration, entrepreneurial mindset. It's not linear. It's thinking creatively, outside the box. It's what a dyslexic by definition has to do. And that's what I thought a successful business needed to do. And it literally empowered, our employees loved it because they felt seen and heard.
And safe, I guess.
And safe. Because they were like, as long as I do it with, no one's jumping off cliffs here. We're not encouraging, recklessness, but risk-taking. And it literally allowed the business not just to survive, but to start to thrive in ways I could never have imagined.